Welcome to NEK-TV Rocks, and my guest today is Hannah Coburn. You're a school teacher?
I am.
And a baker?
And a baker, yes.
Which is more fun?
Oh, that's a hard question. I don't know if I could answer that. I do enjoy both. I've had a lot of people ask if I'm planning on moving away from teaching with the baking, but I have no plans of that. I love my job as a music teacher.
Well, what happens when your business really takes off?
Undecided. We'll get to that when we need to.
Cool. How did you start as a baker?
As a baker, well, my mom owned a bakery years and years ago. So I actually grew up in Ontario, Canada. My mother was born in Montreal.
Yeah.
And so my mom had a bakery and really loved to bake. And that was a huge part of our household. We didn't often eat processed food. We didn't eat out often or packaged food, so everything we ate my mom made. And she had this big giant red cookbook that she had all of her recipes in, and I remember as a child looking through them, and I would help her with it, and they were so good. And all of our family gatherings and all of the special events in our lives were centered around the meal and the food, and so I just grew to love it. And then I was diagnosed with celiac disease, and those foods were not available to me anymore.
That must have been really weird.
It was really strange to be the only one who just couldn't eat them. And my mom was amazing and learned quickly, but at first she tried using gluten-free recipes and tried to make new things, which weren't always successful.
Right.
And when you're newly gluten-free and you try baking, it often doesn't turn out well the first time. It takes a little bit of practice. So I then later decided, well, what would happen if I just tried these exact recipes but used my gluten-free ingredients? And then it worked, and I loved contributing that part of myself to my family events and to my friends. And I thought, I must not be the only one who likes treats who is gluten-free.
From it.
Yeah, so then it turned into this. And so my mom was known as Lolli to my niece and nephew, and so Dear Lolli Baking Company it became.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
What made you, quote, get diagnosed? Because
Great question.
There's a lot of talk about what celiac is and isn't, how and when people get diagnosed. I know some people do as infants.
Yes.
And others are much, much older.
I think it depends on your symptom onset. So I believe it's 80% of people with celiac are undiagnosed or underdiagnosed, meaning they might be told they have a wheat intolerance versus celiac disease, because a lot of people don't have any symptoms at all. That's more common than having symptoms. So for me, I remember as a child just having stomach aches a lot, where I'd be kind of doubled over just because my stomach was uncomfortable. But as we know, when we're children, we don't often know to say something. And so I just thought, well, this must be, people must have this. Their stomachs must just be uncomfortable a lot. And so that continued, and I was able to live with it and just kind of deal with it. And then in my early 20s, my stomach pain became really, really bad, to the point where I thought my appendix had burst or things like that. Like I couldn't stand up straight, I couldn't eat anything, the pain was really intense, and I do have a cousin with celiac disease. And so on my own, first I tried cutting out dairy, because that's pretty common, and that didn't seem to do anything. And then I cut out gluten, and within 2 days I felt absolutely amazing. Like I just felt like, oh, this has to be it. And I went to my doctor several months after and requested a blood test. And to be diagnosed with celiac, you have to be on a gluten diet. But I said, I just can't. I can't go back. It was too awful. So they did the test while I was off of a gluten diet, and my numbers were still sky high, which indicated celiac disease. So I think for folks who have it or who are diagnosed when they're young, I think they must have really severe symptoms, so that doctors would know something real is wrong and what to test for. And it is genetic. So I assume that those diagnosed young maybe have a parent or a sibling or some family member that has it. And so when they experience symptoms, the parents say, oh, we should probably get them tested.
Right. I have a friend, 2 of her kids have it.
Yeah.
She doesn't, and they don't know of anybody else in the family.
Yeah.
But she has another very unusual autoimmune disease.
Okay.
So,
and as we know, autoimmune disease come in
they
clumps.
mix and match.
They do mix and match, which is frustrating.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the interesting thing about celiac, is that it's not an allergy, and it's not an intolerance. It's its own medical condition, and we just call it an allergy basically for when we go to restaurants and we can get the necessary accommodations.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge in itself, because so many people will say they're allergic to something.
Yes.
And they're not. They may have a reaction to it.
Yeah.
But that's very different
It's
from
very
a
different.
real allergy to something.
It is, and I'm lucky because I have not experienced and probably will not experience anything anaphylactic. I never have trouble breathing. I know some folks do, but I think that is not as common as gastrointestinal distress and maybe skin rashes. So I will never be terrified in that way that I could be in a position where I would accidentally be cross-contaminated and then risk hospitalization, potentially death. And so I'm lucky that way, but it is different. And when I go to restaurants, I have to ask really specific questions, because for example, a lot of restaurants will label French fries as gluten-free because they're made of potatoes.
Dip them in something.
Or
they're
they're fried in the same oil as something with gluten, and then I can't have it. So for that reason, we say allergy, but it is a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course it's a big marketing thing
Huge.
now.
I did a little research before I came because I'd heard of this, but I wanted to see how many countries had this. And many European countries have a stipend that they give to folks who have celiac disease because the markup on gluten-free products is so high that my grocery bill, my husband and I, we do eat gluten-free together, but sometimes we just eat totally separately because he eats differently than I do. So our bills are so different. Mine is usually twice as high because I'm buying these substitute products. And while I don't have to, I could just eat protein and vegetables and things like that. I still enjoy things that everybody else enjoys.
The carbs.
I love a carb. And not rice. We get tired of rice.
Yes.
It's a lot of rice. I love rice.
But plain potatoes you can have.
Plain potatoes, mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
All the good things.
Yeah, it is a challenge. Well, you can have more than mashed potatoes.
Oh, so many things.
I'm
Mashed
from a
potatoes are just my
potato-eating
favorite.
background, you
Yes. There are restaurants popping up, though, in Vermont and in New England that are specifically for celiac or allergy restaurants. So there's a restaurant in Burlington. There's 2 or 3 of them, I think, called Blissby, and they're all celiac safe. Everything is.
Wow.
And then there's a chain of restaurants in New England called the 110 Grill, and they cater to all of the top 14 allergens. And they have to be brought out by a manager. They're labeled, and everything is cooked in its own separate kitchen so that everybody can eat and be safe.
Wow.
Which is so nice.
That's amazing. And how labor intensive.
Oh, absolutely.
And
there's so many people who work there just
and I guess the kitchen. Of buying a meal there must be really high too.
It's to be honest, I'm not exactly sure because I don't really
we
go.
We don't live there.
Yeah, so a meal, I would say if I was going to get, I'm a water person. If I go to a restaurant, I'm going to get water. I don't typically.
You can have wine.
I can, but I just love water.
I'm joking, yeah.
And so I would say a meal would be between $30 to $40 if I got an appetizer with it, which I think is comparable. Yeah.
Standard, yeah.
Yeah. But there are definite markups in restaurants everywhere. Like, let's say I wanted a gluten-free crust at a restaurant. It's usually $4 more, $2 more. You're adding on the cost.
I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
And have been for decades.
Yeah.
And when I see the quote, veggie burger is more expensive than the meat burger.
It doesn't make any sense, does it?
No.
Yeah.
It's a convenience fee.
Yeah. I grew up vegetarian. My mom was a vegetarian for many decades as well. And I think that is probably one of the reasons why I didn't have extreme symptoms when I was young. I definitely had stomach discomfort and some gastrointestinal issues, but we were eating a plant-based meal most of the time, so we weren't eating a lot of carbs and we weren't eating processed carbs, which we see a lot of people with celiac disease we're thinking it's because we're eating all of these processed foods and
Right.
our intestines just can't handle it.
And gluten as a component of flour is in so many things.
So many things. Although there's something magical happening.
That's changing too.
That's changing too. And I'm lucky, again, because I have celiac disease and I don't have a wheat allergy. A lot of companies, King Arthur included, are using deglutened wheat. So you have the taste of the wheat, which I have dearly missed, without the gluten protein.
You are lucky.
Yes, yeah, I really am. Gluten is contained in wheat, barley, and rye, or gluten is in those. And so those are things that I have not had in many years.
There are questions about oats too, some of the time.
Yes, typically because oats are processed in the same factories that
so
they process.
Contamination.
Yes, so Bob's Red Mill has a really great gluten-free oat, and they're the exact same thing. They're just cooked in a separate facility. And then I think Quaker has one as well. But if I see oats in something and it's not labeled certified gluten-free, I won't eat it typically.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk.
No,
I've learned.
It's not.
Yeah.
So, what do you make? How do you cook?
Yeah, so I have found...
And I know this is show and tell too.
Yes, absolutely. So I have found that gluten-free, in my opinion, because I liked the recipes that I grew up with, and so I didn't have luck trying recipes specifically designed to be gluten-free. I had the best luck using gluten-free products to substitute for the gluten in my recipes. So I would say my most popular product is the Nanaimo bar. The Nanaimo bar is a very sweet treat. It has graham cracker, coconut, chocolate on the bottom, a custard in the middle, and then chocolate on top. So decadent. Yeah. So the only thing that I have to substitute in the Nanaimo bar are the graham cracker crumbs. So that's easy. And then the chocolate flourless torte doesn't have any flour in it anyway.
Well,
so
that's easy.
Easy, yes. I also make donuts. They were what kind of started this out, because as a gluten-free person, I hadn't had a donut in a long time, and I never loved donuts. I didn't really seek them out when I could have them. They just kind of were that they were there and I wanted one, I would have one. But you don't realize what tastes you haven't been able to taste until you haven't in a long time. So I used my mom's cranberry strudel cake recipe as my gluten-free donut base, and I've just kind of tweaked the recipe to make it work for me. And
cranberry streusel sounds phenomenal.
So good. This was one of her famous cakes that she would make specifically for my brother's birthday. He loves it, he and his wife, so they always got a cranberry cake. And I thought this kind of lends itself well to a donut because of the flavors, because it just is so good, so I had to try it. And so I used the King Arthur Measure for Measure flour as my flour, which I think is a really wonderful product.
Yeah.
I also make date squares, which I love. Date squares, I grew up with them, but what I really love about them is most people who try them tell me, oh, this is just like my mom used to make, or my grandmother made date squares, or some relative that I know. And so I like the nostalgia that it reminds people of these humans in their life that they've not thought about for a while, or it just brings back a happy memory, because I think it's an older recipe. A date square is really like a classic older baked good.
Full disclosure here.
Yes.
Part of the reason you're sitting there right now is I do the newsletter for the farmers market.
Yeah.
So part of my job, and I love my job, is going around all the vendors at the farmers market. And if they have products I can try, I try them.
Yeah.
I tried your date squares.
Date square.
I love dates.
Yeah.
I love date squares, including old recipes, because that's obviously what I grew up on. Yeah. I'm not celiac, but boy, were they good.
Oh, they're so tasty, aren't they? And they're so simple. It's what, 5-6 ingredients,
Delicious.
And they're just so good.
And I've now tried a couple of your other things as well, and really enjoyed those as well.
But the date square is what's going to bring you back.
It will keep bringing me back.
Yeah, I like that people now have their favorites too. They come to my stand and I always have the date squares chocolate torts, Nanaimo bars and donuts, but my fifth item I've kind of rotated a little bit, but I think I've settled on something because
tiramisu?
Tiramisu I really loved, but it wasn't a huge hit. It was a huge hit with people who loved it, but a lot of people who've never had it before, they're not going to try it. But the mini gluten-free, dairy-free carrot cakes sold very quickly because I've had a lot of people say, I'm gluten-free, but I'm also dairy-free. And that's tricky because all of my recipes have a lot of dairy in them. So I did this carrot cake with a cinnamon cardamom icing on top, and people liked it, and so that might be a regular addition.
I think I have to do the responsible thing and try that.
I think so. Yeah, I think you'll have to just experience it.
And I'm only doing it for the public.
For the research, absolutely.
Research, right.
Contributing to our community, yes.
Yeah.
Through carrot cake.
Oh, I love carrot cake.
I do too. I was telling people who came to my stand, I often forget about carrot cake because it's just not, I don't know, it's not super popular among, like in restaurants or in bakeries. But then every time I make it, I remember how good it is.
Yeah.
It's so tasty.
Yeah.
And I like a raisin in it, which is controversial though.
I know.
Raisins are controversial.
The purists are not so fond of the raisins.
No, I know.
I
They're
like
missing out.
cardamom in it too.
Yes, that does go in mine. Cardamom is definitely my favorite spice. My husband will tell you I say the word cardamom more than any other person who is alive because I talk about it so often because it's so good.
Yeah, I make a carrot halva.
Ooh.
The Indian version of it. And whereas the traditional one is made with full dairy, you can make it with oat milk.
Oh, okay.
And it's still good.
Ooh.
I haven't made that for a long time.
Maybe
but
you got to make it soon then. Yeah.
Guess so.
Sounds delicious. Yum. I really enjoy bringing local vegetables and ingredients into my products as well, which is fun. And we have a great community to do that, to buy local. And
we do. And it is really nice to have an all Vermont base for all of your work.
It is.
For all that you're doing.
Absolutely. I have a friend, Owen Tatum, who owns Makeshift Farm, a great human being who's doing something really wonderful and has the most delicious vegetables, in my opinion.
Yes, he does. I agree.
They're so wonderful. So I last year I kind of started my baking, cooking venture more publicly by doing a sample every day or every pickup day, so Thursdays at Makeshift Farm, for folks to try different recipes using his veggies that he had out for the week. And then it kind of morphed into Dear Lolli Baking Company. So Owen gave me my start, but I love using his delicious products.
You need to put together a book of all those recipes.
Yes.
Using local
products. That's true. I do have them.
And King Arthur's local.
Yes. Yeah. Cabot. I use Cabot a lot for my butter and for...
Cabot is now running a centre out of Hardwick.
Really?
Yeah, the Yellow Barn.
Oh, okay.
They have one of their, you know the one in Waterbury?
Waterbury, yep.
Yeah. They have one there which always has cheese samples.
Yes, yeah.
And now there's one in Hardwick.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like being able to say that I source my ingredients from...
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
We don't grow cardamom here, though.
We don't. I know. There are a couple things that are...
If I could figure out how to grow it here, I would.
Oh, I would be your biggest customer.
Maybe Owen could figure it out.
He probably could. We'll task him with that and see what happens.
Yeah, Makeshift Farm is wonderful.
It really is. And it's fun being a part of the farm. I know a lot of members will go on Thursday mornings to help pick, or he'll send out an invitation to everybody to say, today's carrot day.
I saw the pea-picking one.
Yes, the pea-picking party.
And I only do the winter CSA because I grow a lot myself.
Yeah.
And I was so jealous because my peas are pathetic this year.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
I'm sure Owen would be fine if you wanted to take a little trip up there.
I think I can survive without, but it was, that's such a great idea. Go pick your own.
Yeah.
I love peas.
And people want to be involved. Yes. If their property doesn't allow for them to have a farm or a garden or anything like that, they want to be a part of this, and he allows for that to happen.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
But yeah, if you've got spare moments, that recipe book.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I did 7 or 8 weeks last year, so I can put that together and publish it, not publish it, but put it out there for folks to be able to.
You can, but you can also self-publish it.
Okay.
And there are so many other people who are either newly diagnosed who could really benefit from your gluten-free recipes.
What I'm thinking of doing maybe in the fall is having a cooking class, just one day where I haven't decided where. My kitchen is very small at home, but I have folks come and we make one of the recipes of the products that I make, so people can kind of see and learn and how you handle gluten-free products and dough differently than you would handle regular, so that they could have a chance to try it and ask questions while they're there, which I think would be fun. I love cooking in the kitchen with other people as well. It's exciting. Yeah, it's a fun way to share.
Yeah, that really would be.
Yeah.
As a teacher, does some of what you do get incorporated into teaching too? What age do you teach?
So. I teach pre-K through 6th grade. I think, well, teaching and baking both require a lot of patience. And so I think they lend themselves well to being able to explain things to people, being able to explain different ways of doing things if you're not able to understand or grasp the concept the first time. I also think that it allows me to try different things, to be more interested in coming up with a solution instead of, oh, I didn't make this right the first time, I'm frustrated, I'm not going to make it again. It can be, well, I'm going to go about it this way, and this is how I would talk through things with my students. Well, it didn't work this way, is there another way you could try? So I think there's a lot in common.
You're right.
Yeah. My students also enjoy eating my baked goods as well, because every once in a while I'll bring them in.
I bet they do.
Yeah. And, I see a lot of students at the farmers market, which is great, and it's always nice to see them.
I mean, recipes never work out the first time.
Never, no.
And
if they do, then it's just because of luck. I'm pretty sure.
I agree. And most of us, when we taste something, are already talking in our heads about, well, I could add this, or a little less of that, or what would really give this a kick.
Yes. There's a huge tasting component in baking and tasting all throughout the process. I'm not sure if you watch the Great British Bake Show.
I have.
Okay. Well, I saw
was my accent to give away?
There you go. I saw a clip of Prue and Paul Hollywood, and Prue is saying that she will taste her dry mix for her cakes and for her breads. Now, you're really not supposed to eat raw flour. You're supposed to bake your flour at 350 for a few minutes. So there's that. I have got to put that out there. But she tastes even the dry mix just to see. Yeah, and I think that's important.
Didn't you grow up tasting ingredients?
I sure did. Not the flour part of it, but everything I could get my little fingers into.
We tasted flour too. that way. I mean, how tacky is that? But it was cooked off.
Right.
But we did.
Yeah, it's true. A big argument in the baking world is salted versus unsalted butter. And for me, I love salty baked goods. I love when there's something sweet and then the salt comes in.
Absolutely.
So I do use salted butter and a little bit less than maybe the recipe calls for, but I always taste to see if I'm the right salt level.
I always use salted butter.
Yeah.
I grew up with salted butter because that's how you keep it.
Same, absolutely. I don't think I knew unsalted butter was a thing until I had it at someone's house and thought, this is gross. Why would I ever put this on anything?
Right.
It's not good.
I know.
And I don't think that the salt in the butter is enough they say that it allows you to control the salt in your recipe. I'm going to want more salt anyway.
Exactly.
And that's what's fun, is that I get to make my own rules and change things and do what I want.
Yeah. The salting, I grew up believing, and that was what we were taught, was that it helped the butter keep. We didn't have refrigeration for a long time, so we had cold pantries in a colder country, but then it kept.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And Brits still don't keep their butter in a fridge.
We grew up without, butter was on the counter all the time.
Exactly.
And if the cat got lucky, the cat would come and have a few licks and you just kind of scrape that part off and you'd move on.
We did the same thing.
Yeah, but it was always on top of our fridge and that's just where it lived. And it wasn't until I moved here that my stepdad kept the butter in the fridge, and it would always bother my mom and I because we would try to make something and we said, well, the butter's not soft. We have to soften the butter. We have to put it in the microwave, which we didn't like doing, and it's never soft enough or it's too runny. And but my grandmother came. Like I said, my mother was born in Montreal. My grandmother came to Canada from Scotland when she was in her 20s. And then my grandfather came to Canada from Ireland when he was a young person. So we had a lot of that influence in our home growing up.
Well, so that was my background. So.
Yeah, and it's different. You know, you don't think that two countries, well, like I said, they were from elsewhere, but just Canada and America so close to each other, there are differences in our cooking habits, and
big time.
Took a lot to get used to that.
Yeah,
being here, there was just a lot of meat. I know that's a silly thing to say,
but
a
massive amount of
every
meat.
Meal has meat in it, and big hunks of
meat in it.
Yes, and that was not what I was used to.
No, me neither.
Yeah, and it took me a long time to like meat. A good steak, I like steak now, but not every night. Maybe once every couple weeks. But
it's very different. We also don't refrigerate eggs.
Right. Yeah.
Because here people sanitize their eggs
and then
by
they
scrubbing
have to.
them.
Yes.
Why would you do that? But different belief systems.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
A lot of things.
Yeah. And if you travel and look at how other cultures handle food, again, it's very different.
It's true. Yeah.
I mean, things that we believe are poisonous here are clearly not in other countries.
It's true.
We ate them there.
Right. Or your body just gets used to a certain way of eating food. Maybe food stays out for a little bit longer. I know that in Europe, cheese is often eaten warm. It's not ice cold from the fridge. And so your body gets used to having dairy at that temperature. And maybe for us, if we went and ate warm cheese for a week, our stomachs might not be happy, but that's because we're not used to it.
I grew up when I first came here, I did not understand the obsession with everything being so cold.
Yeah.
And handing people glasses of water with ice in all the time.
Yes.
I don't put ice in water.
No, but it's funny what you get used to.
Right.
Because now on a hot day, I do like ice in my water.
Yeah.
But
I still don't.
No.
No.
I do, when I'm at school, I always tell the students I like to drink room temperature water because it's best for your vocal cords and your larynx. But if it's 90 degrees and humid, I'll add a couple ice cubes in.
And they'll melt very fast.
They'll melt very fast.
Probably.
Yes, that has been a challenge this summer with my baked goods, is the size of my fridge and the size of my kitchen and the heat. It gets toasty in there.
There's not much anybody can do about the size of your kitchen unless you take over another room.
Right.
But an additional fridge in your garage?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to do something like that soon. Which I'm lucky to have family nearby that their fridges and freezers are stocked with my various ingredients that I go to pick up.
How convenient.
It's wonderful. And then I tell them they can charge me tax by taking a slice or something like that if I make.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Right, I think so.
Do you cater events?
I don't, but it's something that I'm gonna get into, I think. I've put together a platter option or like a sampling option that I'm gonna post on my social media soon. I'm delivering a sample platter to a woman tomorrow. So I don't know if I have the capacity to cater do large amounts regularly, but I would like to get into people ordering desserts for parties and things like that.
And you're going to stick with desserts?
I think so. I would like to branch out, but I think for now I'm going to stick with this. And then if I branch out, it will probably be next summer. That'll be my experiment time. The school year is a little much for me to do trying new baking and teaching. I can do the baking and the teaching simultaneously.
Right.
But I don't know if I have it in me to do more than that.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It really is.
I'm an early to bed person. I'm asleep by 8 p.m. most nights.
Wow.
So I don't have the time after school because I need that
and who
for
really
sleeping.
wants to start baking at 4 a.m?
It's true, but I guess that's what they do.
Time to make the donuts.
It's great. Yeah, that is. I'm lucky because I find that gluten-free products, especially baked goods, except for bread, because that's a whole other beast in the gluten-free world, is making bread.
Yes.
But the donuts, I can make them the night before and they taste the same the next morning.
Right.
They're not like a donut that you would get from a chain or something where the second day they're gross.
Horrible.
Yeah. So that I'm lucky with. But gluten-free bread is something I would love to try, but it is a beast. And it's it's hard.
Yeah, there certainly are some people who make it successfully. I've had gluten-free bread.
There is a company called Bonte Bakery, and they were out of Calais, Vermont. I'm not sure where they are now. I think they may have moved to a different small town, but they make the most delicious bread. Like, people call them country loaves. They make sourdough, and they're absolutely delicious. And they fly off the shelves. You have to go the day that they deliver to their various places, and it's still hard to find.
Yeah.
But they've perfected it. And that's all they do.
And you hope
just
they
bread,
grow.
or a piece of dough. And I hope that they start coming further north.
Well, Calais isn't far from us.
It's not too far. The closest they deliver to us is Hardwick.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Montpelier. But it's
so
worth
they
it
deliver
for bread.
to Buffalo Mountain?
They do.
That's not far to go.
It's not too far. No, it's worth it for good bread.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for something as wonderful as that.
It's true.
Why
It's true.
not?
Yeah, so I want to try it, but I'll leave it to them for now.
Yeah. And it is good that you're all saying, this is my niche. I can settle in my niche. I can do really, really good things here.
Yeah.
But if I try and spread my lane to cover too many things, I'm going to lose energy, quality,
Exactly.
you name it.
Yeah. I think a big goal for me would be getting my products maybe in a larger variety of places and then I could have like a pretty regular schedule and then could maybe add another item, but like I said, it'll be a slow process. But I envision going out to a local restaurant that doesn't have a lot of gluten-free options, and then maybe a flourless torte could be a gluten-free option that they could order. They freeze really well.
Right.
That sort of thing is kind of what I'm... Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure Green Mountain Natural Foods would be interested in some of your products.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my husband the other day and said I really need to think about where I want this to go, how far I want this to go, and what's doable. And so all of those things are on my mind, but I'm giving myself time to kind of see where it goes naturally.
That's smart.
And then
Really smart.
I don't want to burn out. That's the thing. I really love it, and I want to stay loving it. I don't want to.
Yes. Enthusiastic.
I don't want to have to roll my eyes when I have to make another batch of donuts. Right. And I do that now when it's 90 degrees, but only because it's 90 degrees, not because I don't like it.
Right. Do you have air conditioning?
I have air conditioning in our bedroom, but not in the kitchen. But it's okay. I mean, it's not long, and you really do get used to it just being really hot for an hour or so, and that's okay.
Kitchens are hot.
They are hot.
They really are.
Yeah.
No matter what you're cooking.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. No, this is really it's encouraging for anybody who's ever thought about picking up a niche, an area that they know is important to them, and there must be other people.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of hope in finding a community that's experiencing the same thing as you, especially if it's something medical that you feel kind of isolated. I'm lucky because my brother, he does not have celiac disease, but he is now gluten-free, and I would say he has a gluten intolerance. And it was such a relief to have another member of my family so that I wasn't the only one at parties or at, family events that couldn't eat this and brought my own food. So finding that in the community is huge. You just, especially if you're new here, if you don't have family here, you're not alone. There are things that you can do, and there are people that really want to meet you and help you. And I would love to meet and help, and not that I can help with my baked goods, but just provide some comfort maybe of a homemade treat rather than a processed packaged.
And there certainly are people around here that I know who have been diagnosed as celiac as adults.
Yes, yes.
And that's a hard place to start.
It is tricky to transition.
It's somebody else's problem if you're a child.
Exactly, and you don't know what you're missing almost.
Right.
But as a young adult, I mean, I was one of those people. I had a friend who had celiac disease in college, and I remember thinking, "Oh, I would never be able to not eat bread." And I'm sure I even said that to that person, which I realized was so insensitive now. But but the second I felt better, it was so easy to stop. I miss like a beautiful baguette. I miss a croissant, although there is a wonderful bakery in Montreal that makes gluten-free croissants, which are so good. Pizza is the tricky one.
Yes.
But everything else, you know, I've made do.
There are gluten-free crusts.
There are,
pizza.
and
some of them are really good.
Some of them are really good. King Arthur has a pizza crust mix, which again uses deglutened wheat, which is really delicious.
Yeah, Parker Pie does a gluten-free crust, which is good.
It is. I think all of the places locally do as well. Yeah, it's nice. And there are restaurants here that I will go to, and I know certain things that I will get, and I'm able to eat out sometimes, which is really nice.
Well, the good thing is we have Doucet Thai.
Yes.
And the majority of their food is gluten-free.
It's true. And we do eat there quite a lot.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
yeah, we do too.
But it's another example of a genre of food that people might not necessarily think would have gluten in it, but unfortunately soy sauce typically is made with wheat. And so if you're using tamari, which is different, and it's made with just fermented soy, then you're fine, but you don't know. And so, yeah.
Obsessively reading labels.
Obsessively, I'm always have a label in my face at the grocery store, and you'll see me either get really excited or like, oh, too good to be true.
Put it down.
Yes.
We are out of time.
Okay, well, this was lovely, though. I could talk about this for a long time.
And we can give information about how people can reach you.
Absolutely.
The phone number, email.
Yes.
That can go out too.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Really educational.
Good.
And now I have to come back and try some more of your
items.
Do. Will you have carrot cake on Saturday?
I will have carrot cake on Saturday.
So you can also find her at the Farmers Market in Newport.
Yes, every Saturday.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.